Hello and welcome back for some satisfying small kitchen organization, mostly food organization that I wanted to share with you today in our fridge, freezer, and pantry. With the busy back to school season upon us, I wanted to show you how I keep these things organized to streamline routines, make meal prep, snack prep, and meal planning so much easier and just minimize on food waste. So over the last few weeks, we've been making it a point to eat through our food stash that we've been accumulating over the last 6 to 8 months. And so we are down to bare bones in our freezer and pantry especially. And so I'm going to take this opportunity while the stores are minimal to fish out all of those rogue ice cubes from the freezer, reorganize a few things, and make sure that everything that we are currently having in these spaces is not expired or hasn't gone bad. So anything that is out of date or that I know we won't be able to use moving forward, I'm just going to remove from these spaces because I do intend to do a full back to school restock in here. I have a huge Aldi grocery haul to share with you, and then also some really good finds from our local Ollie's. They've been doing a lot of pantry staple buyouts recently, and we have just found some killer deals on a lot of things. So I wanted to share all of that with you, but before I do, like I said, I'm just going to clear out these spaces and make sure that everything in here is within date and is still good that we can use moving forward, and then we'll just kind of fill out from there. And if you are new here, I should take this time to say hi, hello, welcome. My name is Megan. I am a married mama of two of the sweetest girls in the entire world and one pup. Her name is Daisy. My two girls are Kinsley and Sawyer, and then my husband's name is Derek. So we are a family of 4, and I love to share all things homemaking here on my channel. That can be a lot of seasonal and holiday decorating, room makeovers, outdoor projects, and small home organization ideas, because I firmly believe that when you have a more organized, intentional space, it really helps to alleviate some of that mental load that us mamas deal with. And especially as we get into busier seasons like back to school time, where the schedule can feel overwhelming and sometimes completely unmanageable, having systems like this in place just really do help to streamline some of that meal prep and packing lunches and meal planning, and it minimizes food waste while maximizing on our storage availability and just kind of putting things in autopilot, if you will. So in this pantry in particular, we have kind of an awkward pantry space. So it's a pretty narrow closet-like pantry that is very deep, and we are very grateful for this food storage. Let me tell you, I know not everybody has a pantry like this. That is not lost on me, but it is a smaller space, and we don't have anywhere for backflow food like a basement or a garage or anything like that. So all of our food has to fit into this pantry and our standard size refrigerator. And so I've worked out over the last few years this organization system that works really well with a combination of acrylic bins and wooden baskets, some turntables, and I love the OXO airtight cereal and snack containers. They come in clutch. And then I do also have an organization system with some refrigerator safe bins in our fridge that just helps to make sure that I'm not overbuying, but I'm still getting what I need, and that we're able to rotate through our food with, again, minimal food waste and maximum use of our space. So now that we have everything expired and bad out of these spaces, this is what we're left with. So I'm going to bring in all of my groceries and share that haul with you and get to restocking. So this is a massive haul, and I don't have a lot of countertop space, so I'm going to break it up into pantry items and refrigerated items, obviously starting with the refrigerated items. So let me show you what I got. I got a bag of mandarin oranges, 5 avocados, 2 seedless cucumbers, baby carrots, a large thing of grapes, and these were crispy today, so the girls are gonna love those. Some peaches, 2 bunches of bananas, a bag of lemons, a head of broccoli, a huge bag of apples, and a fresh pineapple. And then we've also got some hearts of romaine, a bag of Brussels sprouts, and some corn on the cob. And I think that's everything for all of the fresh fruits and veggies. So moving on to cheeses, I did get some American cheese singles, and then 2 packages of these creamy cheese wedges. Kinsley especially loves these to pack in her lunch as a homemade Lunchable with some crackers and salami or pepperoni. And then Parmesan cheese, a block of Colby Jack, a block of cheddar, and a thing of string cheese. Now moving on to meats, I want to say this is a pork shoulder roast, and then 2 things of bacon, a bag of meatballs, and 4 tubes, I guess, of these frozen ground beef. We like to keep these in the freezer on hand. 3 cartons of eggs, and then a huge fillet of salmon. And then I think I've got some chicken thighs, chicken drumsticks, and chicken breasts in here. And then yogurts, I decided to get 2 of these mocha tiramisu Chobani yogurts. I thought they would be a nice treat for Derek. And then these are his standard, the whole milk Greek yogurt and the toasted coconut vanilla. We got 2 packs. I did also get some jumbo biscuits and some crescent rolls, and then some odds and ends for the refrigerator. I got a huge pack of low-fat chocolate milk to pack in lunches. And then at Ollie's, they had this buyout of bubble teas, and both of the girls love these. So these will last us a while, and they'll be a nice treat in their lunch boxes. And then I also got this variety pack of applesauces. And then Celsius for Derek and I. This was a buyout at Ollie's for $12, and I think it's a 12 pack, so it's $1 a can. Couldn't pass it up. A gallon of milk and a big container of apple juice. Hopefully I didn't forget anything in the pantry boxes, but I think this is all of our refrigerated and frozen food. So it's time to start putting it away. I think I'm gonna start up on the top shelf with all the drinks. Okay, so while we're working here, let me share with you how I organize our refrigerator. So I reserve this top shelf for individually packaged drinks, and then we also store any of our leftovers that we accumulate from dinners throughout the week up here. And then on the bottom shelf, where there's the most room, I do like a gallon of milk and any gallons of juice. And then I have a full set of these refrigerator safe acrylic organization bins. And so I use a large one for the meats that I know I'm going to use right away, and then we use the others for some kind of different food categories. But first, we're taking a break to restock our freezer here, and this is probably the least organized space because we have a chest freezer, like the pull-out drawer on the bottom. I kind of just have to stack all of our freezer foods and meats as best as I can. It's definitely not as well organized as the refrigerator, but I personally make use of the organization that's already included in every standard size refrigerator, the lunch meat drawer and the produce drawers. I do adjust the humidity for one side to be all vegetables and one side to be all fruits. And using this space, I've just kind of learned what fits in here or how much fits in here, and so I try not to overbuy so it will all fit in the drawer, and that way I minimize on food waste so I don't forget about anything that's there, or there's not so much shoved into that space that I never get a chance to use it before it goes bad. I keep things like grapes and tomatoes in the fruit organizer on the other side, and then I have a larger acrylic bin for things like apples and oranges and peaches. These are fruits that my kids eat often, and I want them to kind of have free access to, so I like to keep those out instead of tucked away. And then on the remaining shelf, I use the rest of the acrylic organizers that came in this one set. I have 3 that are designated for snacks, so we're filling that with applesauce today, 1 with eggs, and it will hold 3 dozen eggs easily, and then 1 for yogurt, and you'll see that it just really nicely fills out that remaining shelf so that we're using every square inch of our refrigerator in the best way we can. For this bottom drawer, I got some more organizers just like this one to see if we can outfit this entire space to organize all of the cheeses, lunch meats, produce, things like that, because it works really well for our block cheeses over here, but the rest is kind of in disarray. So I got another set of these larger trays that are already in here, a set of these longer skinny trays, maybe for like string cheese and sausages, these medium size to maybe fit behind the large ones, and these small little cups just in case I find a use for them. So clearly this lunch meat drawer has not been given the priority that it deserves. I've been neglecting this for quite some time. I'm not really sure why I prioritized organizing the rest of the fridge and then just kind of gave up when we got down to this drawer, but I'm glad that I finally took an afternoon and invested the $8 I think it took to get this space outfitted with some organizers that would work best. We've completely filled the space here and we're able to organize all of the different categories of food that we keep here. I just know that this is going to work out so well for my family in particular and our buying habits, but it could absolutely be customized just with different size bins of the same type though. They are refrigerator safe and they do come in a variety of sizes, so it would be really easy to outfit a drawer for, specific buying habits. But anyway, I would say in general, our refrigerator organization system has held up great. It works out really, really well, and I think it would easily work for a family of 2 to 6, even maybe a family of 8, to help stay on top of buying habits, helping you to save money in your budget, not wasting so much money with food waste, and really being able to see everything that you have and eat through it before it goes bad. So if you've been wanting to organize your refrigerator and just not quite knowing how, I will leave everything that I've used for my space linked down in the description box and in the YouTube shopping tab in case you want to try it out and see if it works for you, your family, and your household. But now that we've restocked the fridge, we can move on to the pantry. Now there are some produce items that I like to keep out in this little wooden dough bowl on my countertop. It's not very many things, but it's mostly like onions. So I have red onions here and yellow onions. I have little potato duos and then a 5-pound bag of russet potatoes that I actually might put in like the floor of our pantry this time. And then I will put our pineapple in here and our bananas, so they're really easy to just grab. But then before I share with you our pantry haul, I just want to remind you this is a no judgment zone. We do have some processed foods in here. We believe in balance in our household. If you don't like any of this, you don't have to get it for yourself or your children or your family. You can shop however you like to shop, stock your pantry with the things that you like. But this is what I got today. So we have this 28 count of prepackaged chips and then this huge box of fruit snacks that I found at Ollie's for $7, along with a little 4-pack of microwavable Easy Mac for quick on-the-go lunches. I did get some Kettle salt and vinegar chips, and then some caramel rice cakes and some Fritos. We were completely out of ramen, so I got a 12-pack of that. We have 2 things of granola here, and then a couple of granola bars, some Cliff bars, and some Nature Valley crunchy granola bars, and then back here Chewy bars. We love granola bars in our household. Sawyer also picked out these chocolate wafers and strawberry wafers the last time we were at the Dollar Tree, so I figured I'd include that. We got some pretzel rods and then also some biscuit mix, some cracked pepper. I think these are like Triscuit dupes from Aldi, and then Clubhouse crackers and chicken and a biscuit crackers. The girls love these in their lunches for like homemade Lunchables, charcuterie, that kind of thing. We also have some cereal. We have pumpkin spice mini wheats. Golden grams are a staple, and then recently we've been loving these cookies and cream protein Cheerios. These are really, really good and have 8 grams of protein per serving, so I feel like it just at least seems like it's a little bit healthier. I did get a hard taco shell dinner kit and then 2 of these Spanish yellow rices. We were out of burrito tortillas, so I got those, and taco flour tortillas, a thing of popcorn, some rotini noodles. We needed a loaf of bread and some sub rolls, these especially for packing Kinsley's lunches. She loves to have subs in her lunches. And then we have a bunch of canned goods and non-perishables. I just got a thing of honey, a thing of Nutella, a bunch of canned veggies. I think it's like 7 things of canned tuna here, some chickpeas and like beans for chili and diced tomatoes and things like that. So I think I might actually start with this and just haul this whole box over to the pantry and get this put back on our can rack. So this can rack holds 27 standard sized cans, and that's more than enough for our family of 4, but I will say that 2 or 3 of them would easily fit across that one shelf if storing away canned foods was more of a priority to us. So if you are looking for something to help you organize your canned food and especially rotate through them to make sure that the ones that are going to expire first are up at the forefront so you can use them first and things like that, the can rack helps a lot for that, and it was relatively affordable. So I'll link that in the description box for you as well, along with these food organization baskets. And they actually weren't intended as food storage baskets, they're just in the regular organization section, but I like to use them. I have one for baked goods and then one for dinner sides and pastas and things like that, and then the other one that I'm stocking here with like the mac and cheese cups and ramen and like pouches of tuna. And then all of our like Bisquick and granola and flour and sugar, I always depot or take them out of their original packaging and pour them into these food safe airtight jars. These are available at the Container Store with the black lid, and they are so worth the investment. I fit so many of them on there. It keeps the food fresh and organized, and I can literally see how much of something I have, so I know when to put it on the grocery list and when I don't need to restock them. Same with things like cereal, having them in these clear containers. These are airtight, so it keeps them fresh, but I can see exactly how much we have, and that prevents me from overbuying at the grocery store. So then I end up with more than we can store and also more than we are eating. And then for like pre-packaged things like granola bars and pre-packaged snacks, I have these stacking acrylic bins, and these hold so much for their size, and they always keep things very nice and organized. So I'll typically like to restock an entire one with just granola bars, and I don't think I said this when I was sharing the haul, but all of the granola bars, Chewy bars, Cliff bars, those were all part of that Ollie's buyout. So if your family loves to eat things like protein bars and Cliff bars, or just have granola bars on hand for quick snacks, if you do sports and you like to pack them in your bag, things like that, I always check Ollie's first if you have one local to you. I can typically get like a massive value size pack of Cliff bars or that giant box of Chewy bars for $4 to $6, whereas it would cost 2 to 3 times that in the actual stores. And then I have 4 more of these stacking acrylic bins that I use for pre-packaged snacks. And one of them always ends up being like the miscellaneous leftovers, like the couple of packs of Teddy Grahams we have here, or the, what are those, graham crackers and fruit roll-ups, just the things that didn't get completely eaten through in the last like grocery cycle, but they're not bad, so I'm just going to stack them all together here. And then I like to keep a couple that are for prepackaged snacks like chips or Teddy Grahams and like alphabet cookies, like those types of things. And then I use one for all of our bags of popcorn because our girls are popcorn babes. They absolutely love it, and I don't mind it because it's a really easy snack. It's relatively inexpensive. They can make it on their own, so it gives them a certain sense of independence, and it is more affordable than some other snacks can be. So anyway, that's everything that I keep in these stacking acrylic bins. And then if it's not prepackaged, I like to put it into these airtight clear containers, so like the rice cakes, the corn chips, pretzels, things like that. we'll typically rotate through what we're storing in here so we never get tired of one particular food. But then also, again, seeing what we have, the girls are reminded of it, they eat through it more, and I know not to buy something if we currently have like at least half of the container left. So all of that to say that having a system where you can see everything really helps to save so much money in your grocery budget, and also cuts down significantly on food waste. And just having this organization in place in general allows me to only shop about every 2 weeks for most of our grocery and pantry staples, but there are some categories that I only have to restock once a month. The aftermath of these huge restocks is always so chaotic. There's a lot of plastic trash that needs to be thrown out, and of course a lot of cardboard boxes that need to be broken down and taken out to the recycling. But first, let's just take a minute to appreciate a fully stocked fridge. It never stays looking this way for very long because my kids will get in here and start grabbing snacks out as soon as I'm finished. But every time it's this well stocked, I always just feel overwhelmed with gratitude, and I just like to take a second to really appreciate it. Also want to take a second to talk about how well this system has worked out. Hopefully it will continue working with all of the hands in here grabbing things as we need them, but I do think it's going to work out well. These are Derek's cheeses, Kinsley's cheeses. Whenever I have like the half of an onion or whatever, I'll put it in here. This is going to be for lunch meats. Right now we just have little salamis, string cheeses or yogurt tubes, sausages, and then all of our block cheeses, and I just think that's going to work out so well. We've also got a restock on our freezer stash, and this feels super good to have done. It's all filled up. There's plenty of meals we can make from this and kind of start rebuilding all of the meats that we like to keep in our freezer. And last but not least, our pantry. Oh my gosh, the girls are going to be so happy to see this. It's been bare for a couple of weeks now as we've been eating through things, but we have all of our pantry staples up here like granola and biscuit mix and rice and sugars and things like that, all restocked. And then our can organizer is completely full, which I don't think has happened in at least 6 months now. We also have like quick and easy dinners or sides for dinners and lunches, things like that. Our bread box is full, all of our crackers and chips. And then these are things that we use to pack in the girls' lunches when we're in a hurry, just kind of pre-packaged snacks. And then these are the snacks that I leave out for them to eat while they're home. And then they also do dip into popcorn while they're home as well. And then all of our cereals and breakfast items. I don't know about you guys, but seeing granola bars just fully stocked like this is always so satisfying to me. And then we've got our turntables full of pantry staples, and they are very full. So incredibly grateful for that. And yeah, this is just going to wrap up today's video. I hope that you all enjoyed this restock and kitchen organization. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you aren't already, and hopefully I'll see you all in my next video.